Many of you have probably tried organic foods, and it's a rapidly growing industry that is worth $2.6 billion in Australia. Today, I'm talking about what the terms organic, biodynamic, and free range actually mean, and which 12 foods you should definitely buy organic. I'll investigate why organic is more expensive and whether it is actually better for our health and tastes better. Organic foods are now readily available at supermarkets, online, and at farmers markets. It can be really confusing though, because the word organic is not regulated. You have to look for certified organic. There's nothing new about organics. Up until the 1950s, all the food we ate was organically produced. So it's only really been the past 70 years that we've been eating foods with pesticides and other inputs. Organic means that no synthetic pesticides, fertilizers, weed killers, antibiotics, artificial hormones, or genetically modified organisms have been used. Australia has the largest area of agricultural land under certified organic management in the world, with nearly 10% of total agricultural land in Australia being used for organic farming. More people are buying organic, with 65% of households saying they have purchased at least one organic product in the past year. Demand is increasing. Most people buy their organics from the supermarkets, and Woolworths say that the demand for organic produce is increasing at a rate of 20% per year. For the domestic market, there is no mandatory requirement for certification, which means that any company can slap on the word organic on their food, even if it's not really. Certified organic gives a guarantee to the consumer that the food is produced in an environmentally friendly way, takes into consideration animal welfare, and also protects the habitats of native animals. Some smaller producers may not have the resources to go through the rigorous certification process, so they might actually be genuinely organic but not certified. It is best to look for one of the certification labels on your organic food, or buy from a reputable retailer who's done the checking for you, or go to your local markets where you can actually talk to the growers. So what is the difference between organic and biodynamic? Well, biodynamic is a spiritual, ethical, and ecological approach to agriculture. It's very much a holistic ecosystem approach. It was developed in the early 1920s based on the philosophies of Rudolf Steiner. You might have heard of the Steiner schools, which are based on these same principles. Biodynamic certification can be thought of as organic plus. Planting schedules are based on the moon cycles, and all plants go through a special preparation process prior to being planted. On a biodynamic farm, you may have a row of carrots and then a row of lettuce, and then rotate the crops. On an organic farm, you might have a monoculture of organic cauliflower. So it's technically organic, but what is better for the soil is to rotate and mix crops. But then this becomes more labour intensive, and labour is one of the main reasons that organic costs more. Having worked on both organic and biodynamic farms, I know it is a lot of work. There is much more manual labour on organic farms and biodynamic farms than conventional farms. Pulling weeds out by hand takes much longer than it would if you just sprayed chemicals to kill the weeds. And this is the number one barrier for people buying organic food. It just costs more. And one of the reasons it costs more, other than labour costs, is that conventional produce is just too cheap and doesn't take into consideration the full environmental and social costs of making that food available. The demand for organics is also outstripping supply, which means that costs go up. So this is basic market forces at play here. The most commonly purchased organic foods are fruit and veggies, dairy and meat, and the reasons people eat organic food are many. The three main perceived benefits of organic food are less chemicals, environmentally friendly, and additive free. And the main reasons people start to buy organic food are concerns for the environment, their health, or animal welfare. People may also choose organic for taste. Particularly foods like tomatoes and meat, you can really taste the difference. Chemical fertilizers have a big impact on climate change and soil health, and organic growers are not using synthetic nitrogen fertilizers. Also, less chemicals used in the production equals less runoff to natural areas such as the Great Barrier Reef. Pesticides in food is the main reason people buy organic, but what exactly is a pesticide? Well, a pesticide is any substance used for preventing, destroying, or controlling pests that interfere with food production. The subclasses of pesticides are herbicides, insecticides, fungicides, rodenticides, and biocides. But do we really need all these? Well, probably not as much as we use them. For example, in Sweden, Indonesia, and Canada, they've demonstrated that pesticide use can be decreased by 50 to 65% without sacrificing high crop yields and quality. There is also the cocktail effect, which refers to the adding up effect of all the toxins and chemicals loaded throughout our lifetime. Our bodies might be able to handle some pesticides in crops, but what is the limit, and does this accumulate over time? In Australia, tons of herbicides and pesticides are sprayed on crops each year. Organic foods have been shown to have 4 times less pesticide residue and more antioxidants than conventional foods. This in itself should be a good enough reason to explore organic food. Here's the list of the 12 foods you should definitely buy organic. Each year, the Environmental Working Group publishes the list of the Dirty Dozen and Clean 15. The Dirty Dozen are those crops that have higher pesticide residue, so consumers should buy organic versions of these to reduce chemical load. The Clean 15 are those foods that do not have high levels of pesticide residue, so would be okay to buy conventional. Generally, buying foods that you eat the skin of, like strawberries and apples and grapes, is a really good idea. Also, I would be buying organic meat and poultry and dairy because toxins bioaccumulate up the food chain. If someone is starting to buy organic food, getting an organic box delivered is a really good and convenient way to start, and I would prioritise leafy greens, fruit you eat the skin of, meat and dairy. In 2017, a new law came into effect which outlines the use of the word free range. To use free range on eggs, there must be no more than 10,000 hens per hectare. This has outraged many people because this is still a lot of hens per hectare. The CSIRO and RSPCA have recommended no more than 1,500 hens per hectare. But if you go to the supermarket, it seems that everything is labelled as free range. But this is only because the bar has been lowered so that more producers can make this claim, even though 10,000 hens per hectare is probably not what people have in mind when they buy free-range eggs. The only way to know you are buying genuinely free-range eggs is to check the stocking density and look for 1,500 hens per hectare or less. Certified organic eggs will also guarantee that the hens have been kept in a free-range environment, fed certified organic feed, and allowed to go outside at any time. There are many companies who are selling genuine free range and doing the right thing by consumers and hens. Check out the full list at the Choice website. Should we buy organic at any cost? Is it better to buy an organic kiwi fruit from Italy or one that is non-organic but grown in the next suburb? Well, by the time that kiwi fruit has been transported to Australia, most of the vitamin C would have been lost. This front page of Time magazine says, "Forget organic, eat local." This is referring to food miles, which is the distance a food has been transported from paddock to plate. Many consumers feel like, what's the point in buying organic dates from the US if they've been shipped or flown over, contributing to greenhouse gas emissions and climate change? Ideally, the best option is to buy local, in-season and organic. We need to eat vegetables, but we don't want to scare people into not eating vegetables because they're not organic. Vegetables are so important for many reasons: cancer prevention, micronutrients, weight management, fibre. It's estimated that nearly 2,000 cancer cases diagnosed in Australia are attributable to inadequate intakes of fruit and vegetables. So, do we encourage clients to eat fruit and vegetables even if they're not organic? Absolutely yes. The benefits of eating fruit and vegetables outweigh the negative impacts of eating non-organic food. I'm a passionate advocate for organic food because I know it's better for my health and the environment. So if someone is keen to try organic foods, this is what I say. Buy organic and local where possible, particularly fruit and vegetables, meat and dairy, and look for certified organic foods and buy genuine free-range eggs.